Kids care about their teeth, but dental disease in kids has become a national health crisis. This is one disease we know how to prevent and how to cure, but the sad fact is that Kentucky's kids have more cavities and miss more days of school because of it than almost any other state.
What did you have to do? They're just going to look at your teeth and make sure they're all good and healthy.
We got to move the chairs in to the middle, strap them down and all that, so we're...
Every few days, Dr. Ed Smith and his crew move his mobile dental van from one school to the next. He has to strap down chairs and secure the generator. I first read about Dr. Smith in a front-page article in the New York Times in 2007. Half of all Kentucky's kids have cavities, twice the national average. Being from Kentucky, my heart sinks when I hear such statistics. What's going on? So I went to Eastern Kentucky to meet Dr. Smith.
We try to schedule so we can move on weekends most of the time. It usually takes 3 people. If I can't go, then Jerry's brother usually goes.
Sometimes windy roads and coal trucks make rough going for the huge dental van. Diamante Driver died at age 12 from a tooth abscess that went to his brain. The scars on his scalp are from 3 operations. This happened in Baltimore. The Washington Post said it might not have happened at all if he could have gotten to a dentist, but his Medicaid had lapsed. In Kentucky's Appalachia, Dr. Ed Smith tries to prevent this from happening.
You're a sweet girl. Don't be afraid of the dentist, okay? Jacob just has several teeth that need to be extracted. That open real wide, Jacob. Open real wide. Okay, letter L needs to be extracted. It has an abscess. And letter S and letter T both need to be extracted. They have abscesses. These are all primary teeth. Okay, thank you, sir.
I found there are many dentists and clinics working to help Kentucky's kids have healthier teeth, and there are about 9 dental vans which go out to the kids. Most of these are funded by institutions like the University of Kentucky Dental School, which has 4 vans. But there's still a lot of kids in need. This is an exploration of one mobile dental van started by an individual dentist, Dr. Ed Smith.
Let's take a look at it, okay? Can you lean back in my chair? You take that with you home. That's your toothbrush and toothpaste. I'm going to lean you back in my chair so I can see your teeth better.
I have to close my eyes though?
If you want, the light's bright, so it's up to you, okay?
See how bright
you don't
it is?
have to.
Let's turn it on and show you how bright it is.
Mr. Sun is kind of bright.
I found the kids to be vulnerable and adorable and worthy of the best care.
Okay, I'm going to use my little
We saw that there was a big need there, and Kevin and I started exploring ways that we could get access to more kids. And we talked about doing maybe some portable equipment that we could take into the schools and do exams. Eventually we stumbled into a used CAT scan trailer, which is quite big. That just took off. We started seeing the kids in this county. The first year we saw probably between 2,500 and 3,000 kids in Knox County. And we started having people from other counties calling, asking us to come over and provide services at their schools.
As Dr. Smith realizes the size of the problem, he travels to the state legislature to lobby for a bill that would promote dental care for kids.
All up here. Look great.
Already.
Kevin? Hey there, how are you?
It's up to you guys for me to pace this thing.
You know, put it all on
I
us.
guarantee you, it'll be your presentation that sells it. Where you want to bet? Don't make me look.
In Kentucky, every child is required to have their ears and eyes examined when first enrolling in school. This bill would require every 5 or 6-year-old child to have their teeth examined also.
Kentucky ranks right at the bottom of dental health for our citizens, and I'm hoping that this bill helps correct some of that today.
Tooth decay is the most common chronic childhood disease. It is 5 times more common than asthma. In 2000, the U.S. Surgeon General's office referred to oral disease as a silent epidemic. In this report, Appalachian children in Kentucky were recognized as the least likely children in America to see a dentist.
What is your source of funding for what you did there?
The only people that we bill is Medicaid, for the children who have Medicaid. We get consents for all the children in the schools that want to participate, whether they have insurance or not. So we end up doing about 40% of those at no cost. I don't have any outside funding other than my bank.
Well, thank you very much for what you do.
So you've been to the dentist recently, huh? What'd they do?
They pulled 2 teeth
Pulled tooth. How come?
because there was cavities.
Did they hurt?
Dr. Smith knows that oral disease is preventable and curable, and still they come, a steady stream of kids in pain every day.
Jay has an abscess on it. Jay needs to be extracted.
I can't eat nothing cold on this side because it hurts the top one and the bottom one. Yeah, my toe's starting to hurt now. That one. It hurts like, you know when you wreck on a bike and you end up skinning your knee and it hurts really bad? That's how it feels.
These children will not learn if they're sitting in that classroom with a tooth that's broken off, with gums that are sore and bleeding.
When I first started getting cavities, my teeth would hurt just a little bit, and then gradually the pain would get worse. They hurt all the time at school.
So what we need to do is we need to make sure we're addressing every health-related barrier to learning that we can, and oral disease is one of those, and that's what we're going to try to do here.
When I had problems with my teeth, I didn't talk to a dentist or anybody about it because I was embarrassed.
On the van, the hope is that such hidden problems will be discovered and treated before they become so painful. There's a prevention routine. The dentist checks each tooth to look for problems, cleans each tooth, applies sealants in the deep grooves of the back teeth so germs won't get caught there and cause cavities, applies fluoride. Each patient gets a panoramic x-ray.
I'll finish.
Some of this Dr. Smith bills to Medicaid, but not all.
Look around here, you can see it on the x-ray. You see this? You see that tooth? It's trying to come between that one and that one. There's nowhere for it to go. So you got to get to the orthodontist and get braces, make space for that tooth to come in. We'll send a note to your mom in the mail.
Kevin Buchanan's job as family coordinator in the schools is to interface between schools and families. He's a key collaborator in the Kids First Dental program.
This is our permission form that we use to send home to get information from the parents. And then the dentist uses the back to do their documentation, to come up with this treatment plan. Anything in blue on these treatment plans are work that's already been done, and the red is work that needs to be done. We mail out a treatment plan to all the parents that have filled out a completed permission form. The red are cavities and S's are sealants that need to be done, and the straight lines are extractions that need to be done.
Then the coordinators also get a copy of this so they can look through these and follow up, and it's simple for them to identify these kids who have the greatest needs, and they start with those, follow up with the parents to see if they've done anything about getting their child into the dentist.
Dr. Smith is also up against what kids eat.
There's a lot of decay on these front 4 teeth. Can you see the back of those?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much the only time she sucks it is when she's sleepy. So, we're bad with chocolate milk. We won't drink milk unless it's got chocolate syrup.
Okay. Is that what she drinks when she goes to bed?
Yeah, it's chocolate milk.
The sugar in that chocolate milk just lays right on those teeth, and that's what causes a lot of tooth decay. That, and then Mountain Dew, and any of these pop's really bad for the tooth decay too. So, because that is
It'd be hard to do because I'm a Mountain Dew drinker.
well, that's
when I drink it, she's got to have it too. So
That,
yeah,
that's the big thing. It really causes a lot of tooth decay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They pulled that one, and that one. Those cavities happen because I like to eat candy.
And do you still eat candy?
Yes, a lot.
But if it makes your teeth hurt, wouldn't that make you stop eating candy?
No. 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11.
Here's 18. It's 18 teaspoons of sugar. All right, thank you guys. Hold on just a second. I'm going to show you. Look how much sugar is in a bottle of Mountain Dew. That's a lot of sugar. That is a lot.
These days, some drinks have sugar, some corn syrup, which can cause obesity. Is sugar addictive? New research seems to reveal that it is.
So what we've done is we've taken these behaviors and brain changes that were observed in animals that were over-consuming or addicted to morphine or heroin or other opiates and applied them to the study of our sucrose binging. And we found that the animals will show not only these behavioral changes such as anxiety, changes in the way that they behave in terms of tremors and the emergence of shakes, but they'll also show changes in the balance of different neurochemicals. By and far, the results suggest that the changes in the brains of the animals that are overeating sugar are similar in many ways to the changes in the brain that we would see if an animal were consuming a drug of abuse, such as morphine.
The dental bill has been changed from a dental exam by a dentist to a screening by any medical professional. Dr. Smith talks to Representative Birch about this change.
Is there any way when you get it back in your hands that you can get that back to an examination away from a screening?
While Dr. Smith lobbies for the dental bill, Dr. Murray, another dentist on the dental van team, carries on.
Did it hurt?
One time I went to the dentist and I was 4 years old and I hit my tooth on a coffee table and I had to pull it out, but it wasn't even loose.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Well, all I'm going to do today is I'm just going to use my mirror and look. I promise.
You're not going to use that thing that you used on that boy?
I won't use it unless I need to, okay? And I'll just look.
Okay, I hope you don't.
I won't hurt you, I promise, sweetheart, okay? Can you do this for me, Katie, and lean your head back here and just open your chin up real wide? If I can see really good, it'll be perfect.
Dr. Smith discusses the changes in the bill with a key lobbyist.
We're disappointed that it's been changed to all these other providers other than dentists. The physicians will tell you they do an oral screening, but they don't know anything about diagnosing dental disease, so it hasn't accomplished anything.
Meanwhile, back at the mobile clinic.
Does that tooth hurt anymore?
What?
That tooth back here that we were talking about?
It used to, but now usually toward that 1 month it does it and then the next month it does.
Well, we'll make sure we let them know we need to get that taken care of soon.
Dr. Murray and the coordinator discuss next steps for the student.
Okay. He says it'll hurt for a month and then it won't hurt, but that just means that when it's draining, it probably has some relief, but then when it builds back up, it probably
Lower
hurts.
left?
Lower left.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs. It may be to the point that they can't save it. It may have to be extracted.
Okay.
But a lot of times they'll try to do a root canal on it if they can. So, but I know it's got to be hurting him. Whenever I touch the mirror down there, it really hurts. So.
Okay, I'll speak to his mom today.
Okay.
Have you got just a minute, or you?
Well, we got to.
I know you're. Can we?
I'm walking this direction if y'all want to walk.
But this dental bill, when it came from the House over to the Senate, and it changed it from a dental exam by dentists to a screening by nurses, nurse practitioners, physicians, physician's assistants.
In the end, the bill that finally passes mandates that 5- and 6-year-olds get their teeth checked when starting school beginning in January 2011. But Dr. Smith is disappointed that not just dentists, but any medical professional will do the checking.
There's good in it in that, we are recognizing that there needs to be some dental exam, or if dentistry were as important, they should have their dental exam done by a dentist and not just say, well, anybody can look in their mouth and do a screening and see whether or not they need dental care.
The legislation did not accomplish our original goal of having a dental exam by a dentist. I think that's what we all felt like as a dental profession was the best of all worlds. But in reality, when you deal with the legislature, when you're trying to get legislation through, you have to work in the real world, and the real world sometimes tells you that you have to make some compromises. I think where leadership comes in is they have to look at the big picture of not only what we're trying to accomplish, but cost, and I think that's a big factor.
The estimated cost of this legislation to the state of Kentucky would be about $107,000.
It took Tom Birch 10 years to get this passed because Kentucky has a diminished value of oral care all over. In Louisville, outside Louisville, southeast Kentucky, far west Kentucky, because they're just teeth. We're going to get rid of them, and to examine and treat baby teeth, well, they're just going to fall out anyway. That is so far from what the benefit is for the child to do this. And finally, oral care is becoming more and more part of our regular consideration on overall health. Thank goodness. It's about time.
So over half of the Medicaid eligible population is not accessing dental care. So, you know, at some point we have to reach these folks. We have to get out there where they're at. I think what Dr. Smith's doing is going into the schools and doing screenings and exams, you know, on his dental van, which is going out to where the children are, okay? The reality, though, is that those children that need treatment, at some point you have to deal with that issue.
One of the unique things that we see is that we have transportation problems. We have isolation problems.
Dr. Smith's mobile clinic is for diagnosis and prevention only. He can't repair teeth on the van, but eventually this is what he plans to do because often getting a child into the dentist's office is no simple matter.
You may be 30 miles away from town. There's no bus, you know, there's no train, there's no cab.
Frakes is one of the isolated schools that Dr. Smith's van visits. Linda Parton is the family coordinator there.
Transportation. This list was just given to me by the coordinator, and half of our students on here that needs restorative dental work, half has no transportation to the dentist.
So Linda gets permission to drive 3 students to the dentist after school.
I am transporting 3 children to Dr. Smith's office to have some dental work done after having an assessment at our school, and it revealed that they needed some extra work, and so I'm assisting the families by bringing their children to Dr. Smith's office.
I know this. I know this.
These are the lucky ones.
Look, you look right here. There I'm not chewing gum. It hurt.
You taking a ride? What's happening, man? You remember me? Huh? Yeah, you do. Do these hurt any?
Those 2 back
Which
ones
one hurt you?
Kenny. Both.
Both sides?
Yeah.
Which side hurts the most? This one here? Okay.
We have problems out of that tooth almost every day.
Okay.
I could understand Dr. Smith's frustration. Ideally, he would have 2 vans, one for prevention and another to follow up and actually fix the problem teeth they find at the school. Of course, many kids do find a dentist to go to in their own community.
It is frustrating for us to see those and not be able to get treatment for them.
So since there's never enough time and money to fix all the teeth, Dr. Smith seeks fundraising advice from lawyers at nearby Berea College. The goal is to create a nonprofit entity which could raise money from foundations.
So many of these pieces just fell into my lap, so I felt like that I just want to go on with it. I've come to a point where I can't do it all anymore.
Do you receive any compensation from Kids First?
No, I haven't. We haven't. It hasn't been.
There hasn't been any compensation you received.
It hasn't been profitable. The primary purpose of this has been to get children in dental practices somewhere. It's not been to go out and treat all their needs because we can't do that. It doesn't make sense, and it's not in their best interest in the long run.
In 2009, ABC devoted a 2020 program to poverty in Appalachia. ABC included Dr. Smith and his dental van as someone trying to make a difference.
Tell you, maybe Mountain Dew's not your best friend. Other sodas too.
Other sodas too, but Mountain Dew is unique. It has a lot of sugar, a lot of acid. When I mentioned Mountain Dew mouth, they got Pepsi's attention. We call it Mountain Dew Mouth. I've called it Mountain Dew Mouth for 20 years. Pepsi contacted me and said that they would like to do something to help. They asked what the problems were that we had, and that's we need another mobile unit, we need more dentists involved, and we need teachers and everyone. People need to understand that these soft drinks are a big issue. It's a big problem. So they said that they would help us with that.
Oral health is a national crisis. Dr. Smith is invited to give the keynote speech at a New England Rural Health Conference.
I see your appearance here as a thank you from all of us in New England who care about public oral health. Thank you for the work that you do. I think there isn't the huge cultural divide between rural Kentucky and rural New England. The needs are much the same. So this is a day for us to learn together. Was there someone in your life who was sort of a visionary for you, or where'd this come from?
My parents were both educators. When I started school, my mother was my first and second grade teacher. And we were at a 4-room school. My dad taught 7th and 8th grade. My dad's cousins one taught 3rd and 4th, the other taught 5th and 6th. So everyone in the community knew each other. My mom she would take, after school, she'd take kids to the doctor sometimes, or I think that's where it came from.
Okay, it's in the blood.
Yeah.
So when you think about your program, what keeps you awake at night?
We worry about funding. That's the difficult part.
At the end, he got a standing ovation. In the meantime, Dr. Smith has the support of his community. He invites the staff for a supper.
I'm the office manager. My wife's his first cousin.
I'm the cousin.
Met him in high school.
One call, a good old Mountain Dew.
It was here that I learned that moonshine whiskey used to be called Mountain Dew.
I'm David. I'm Eddie's first cousin, and we grew up together. I'm on the board of directors, and actually Eddie and I, we've been talking about this for years. It was his dream, and for several years he's been talking to all of us in the family about it. A lot of his cousins and friends. As he comes up with more and more ideas, and he got more and more excited about it as the thing actually took off.
I'll lift up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew.
12 months after the passage of the dental bill, the Department of Education has its first meeting regarding its implementation.
Is this doable? Is this enough?
We are trying to go for the disease that the kids suffer from the most, and that's cavities. That's what we're going for here.
What we need to come to consensus on is what the form is going to ask, the dental screening or examination form, what that's going to ask to be looked at. We're going to have to look at the Dental Association and the Hygienist Association and say to them, what resources do you have available to train physicians, physician's assistants, registered nurses, advanced registered nurse practitioners on what they're to be looking for. It will be one thing for the form to say gingival conditions or conditions with regard to disease of the gums. Now, what is that?
So nurses all over the state gather for crash courses in what to look for in the mouths of 6-year-olds.
One of the reasons that the new law says it's not just the dentist is because we don't have enough dentists that either will or want to do this. So we had to expand it. So you all are going to understand what a mouth looks like, what a perfect mouth looks like, what a not so perfect mouth looks like, and what a really, really desperate mouth looks like for your screening. These are cavities, girls. Cavity, cavity, cavity. Whoop, look at that. This is urgent. This thing's going to get an abscess between now and next Tuesday, and he needs a referral immediately.
Dr. McKee also trains nurses in how to fill out the form.
But this is our form. You must use this form. If decay is present, how bad is it? What you said, be specific in what you said. You need to see a dentist this week, okay? Is the pattern that of early childhood caries? Canine to canine, upper arch, lip side.
We have 42.8% of our 4-year-olds with untreated decay. So you can imagine how much more decay you're going to see in a 5-year-old and then a 6-year-old. To try to get dentists to include Medicaid patients as part of their patient panel, that is the magic question in Kentucky. We don't have enough dentists to fight disease. We definitely don't have enough dentists that accept Medicaid. And then on top of that, we don't have enough dentists that will accept Medicaid that will take the very young patient.
To that end, Governor Beshear, working with Dr. McKee and Kentucky's dental schools, has obtained a federal grant to train dentists to treat young children.
Dental problems are preventable. They just have to be made a priority. Today, we're beginning making them a priority with a 3-year initiative that aggressively focuses more than $2 million in state and federal resources on the causes of Kentuckians' poor dental health, especially in our children. There are too few dentists, particularly pediatric dentists. In fact, only 28 of Kentucky's 120 counties are home to a pediatric dentist.
When we get up and running with that, what that's going to do is it's going to go around the state and assist general dentists in learning a little bit more about pediatric technique so that they can treat more children in their practice, specifically children under 5. When I was in dental school, they did not train us how to assess or treat a 12-month-old, an 18-month-old, a 24-month-old. And unfortunately, these children need help right now.
Are you afraid? Okay, well, don't be afraid. Hey, I'm going to let you sit up a little bit, okay? See if we can get you a little more comfortable. Right there. How about that?
Kentucky's dental health crisis continues despite the efforts of many people. For Dr. Smith, keeping the dental van funded is an ongoing problem.
We run close to a break even with what we can collect from Medicaid insurance. It's not a good business model if you're doing 30% of your work for free. If we were not doing those, this would be a business, and it could be a profitable business if you were only doing the ones that could pay. But that's, our mission here is to go out and see all the children that the parents want seen, whether they have the ability to pay or not.
After many meetings, Kids First was approved as a non-profit organization. Now they can receive grants like this one from Walmart.
Kids First Dental with checks for $25,000.
Thank you.
You try cashing that.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, but you already have the real ones.
An oral surgeon in Louisville, Dr. Kenny Livesay, threw a fundraiser at a bowling alley. Dr. Smith put together a second van with used equipment.
We've been in regular contact with people at PepsiCo, and they rented a second unit for us to use the second half of the year last year and help supplement some of the payroll for that unit for the spring.
He now has 2 vans for inspection and prevention, and the Pepsi Foundation may help him realize his dream of getting a van for fixing teeth. And ultimately the key will be education, and Pepsi may help him with that.
An education project with Save the Children and myself involved to get into the local schools and get braces, and they'll make room so that those teeth will come down where they belong.
Maybe the government and Pepsi and foundations will continue to help. In the meantime, Dr. Smith's quest continues. The preceding program has been supported by the KET Fund for Independent Production.